All right, welcome back to Relative Conscious. My name is Thomas Brown.
Irvin Bryant.
Shout out to DJ for making our beat.
At DW Made That on social media.
And follow us on social media.
At Kinda Woke on Instagram and Twitter. Relatively Conscious everywhere else. Like, follow, subscribe, share, because we're talking about trans rights are human rights. But the way we're defining them in America, it's getting funny.
Yeah, so we want to paint the picture real quick. In Texas, there's a slate of anti-trans bills. SB 29, SB stands for Senate bill. SB 29 defines that teenagers playing sports must play sports with
the gender they were assigned at birth.
Yeah, time of birth. I'm trying to figure out how to say it correctly.
Yeah.
HB 1399 would prohibit reassignment surgery or hormone therapy and like that until 18. And HB 1311 will revoke the medical license of any physician that performs reassignment surgery or prescribes hormone therapy, drugs, anything like that, basically.
On the grounds of child abuse.
Yes. And Texas is not the only one. There are, at this point in time, I count 25 states that have bills. The ones most likely to pass are in states with the Republican trifecta. That is everywhere below the Mason-Dixon. Actually, hold on, let me give it a second. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Okay, so when I was talking about the bills in all these different states, I'm going to give you guys a visual real quick of what I'm talking about before we continue. This is just all the bills, and these are all the states, basically.
Okay, so, where can I find this at? What is this website?
This is called freedomforallameriCans.org.
Oh, good stuff. Freedom for All Americans, I like that.
And basically, they have an anti-trans bill tracker, and they have all the states. The deep red.
Why are we hot? Why are we in the hottest?
Because we have 6 bills. Missouri has 6 bills. Minnesota has 4 bills. West Virginia has 6 bills also. And then I want to say the Mason-Dixon runs here, right?
No.
I think so. I think Virginia.
It runs, I mean, Indiana, because the South is stupid.
Yeah.
It's a stupid idea. So you got Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, Missouri, and Kansas was a territory. So
yeah,
the line is useful but not useful.
Yeah, but anyway, everything below here is all trifecta besides Virginia because it's wild. But anyway, North Carolina has a couple bills, South Carolina has a couple bills, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and then even Minnesota got 4 bills, which is insane to me. I also got bills in Maine. Maine has a bill too. So does New Hampshire. This is just a map so you can get a view of what we're talking about. 25 different states having bills. And the AP, the Associated Press, called lawmakers and see they can cite local examples of trans girls in sports.
Yes,
and they couldn't. And this is a March 3rd, 2021 bill. David Carey and Lindsay Whitehurst, basically. And the article just basically goes down to where they start calling people up, each person who introduced a bill. And they're like, can you basically, South Carolina, there's a South Carolina lawmaker named Ashley, I'm not going to pronounce that last name, but it says she knew of no transgender athletes competing in states and was proposing a ban to prevent possible problems in the future. So it wasn't a problem now, but in the future. Mm-hmm. And she said the next generation of female athletes in South Carolina may not have a chance to excel. Mm-hmm. And then also Tennessee too, they couldn't cite any particular examples. Mm-hmm. So no one knows any examples, but we got this many states proposing bills. That's why we feel this is enough of an issue to talk about it. And so let me ask you, Irvin, why is it something that is weighing heavy on your heart? You want to talk about?
Okay, so I am an American Black Christian, which should mean I'm a humanitarian, but often doesn't. But I'm also cis het, straight male. Yes, all of those things. That is me, identity, right?
Yeah.
So I'm over here like, okay, I listen to a lot of different people, and I'm also in Texas. So yes, that is geographically, ethnically, all of my identifiers. So I listen to a lot of different people say a lot of different things about culture war, etc. And one thing that kind of floats up, especially when Caitlyn Jenner transitioned, is like, because Bruce Jenner was a track star. You know what I'm saying?
He's a runner. He's a track star.
So what? That's really funny. She's a track star. Why or what happens if Caitlyn Jenner runs? Is the question people started to question. Just in convo, like, because she would dust. You know what I'm saying? Men's and women's sports are different because biologically men and women are built differently. So in basketball, performance is crazy different.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle has a joke about this, has a whole stand-up routine about this.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got like combat sports. I just want to lay it out. Football. I mean, like the weight and height means so much alone, just off that, right? Men are taller than women by and large. Men gain more weight, muscle, or any other kind of weight, really. But we're built differently physically, and especially puberty in that age. Crazy stuff is happening. Some of these kids
Zion
are already cheating in high school, coming out. Why are you 6'5"? You're on the high school basketball court. My son is 15 years old. Why are you doing this?
Or like Zion playing basketball in high school.
Williamson.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you're Shaq. You're a 30-year-old man. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So, we already have 16-year-olds with mustaches dunking on our children. But that's just life. That's just genetics. But then if what biologically was born with a penis, testosterone, mustache, genetic components, is now dunking on my daughter. I don't know, because it feels unfair, right? I mean, men are men, boys are boys, and it's we delineate them for fairness. But is it will allowing this child to live in this space destroy the fairness that we've created, a level of fairness? There's no objective fairness in sports. Genes, you just are born with the body you're born with. But we separated the sexes to be like, okay, this, it's almost like a weight class. These will be fair enough for our purposes. Will allowing this person to live in their space, their truth, break that fairness that we've created? Was the question that people had begun to ask. And I take that question rather seriously. I believe trans rights are human rights. Stop killing trans people. Stop, treating them crazy. Let them use the bathrooms they want to use. All that stuff is kind of whatever. Like, it's just not my life. I don't have to agree with what you're doing. It ain't got nothing to do with me, right?
Yeah.
And I don't, we let people do all kind of other crazy stuff. So relax, dude. But then when it's like, do we want to destroy the sports, or will it rather destroy sports as we know it? And this is very culturally important to humanity. Like, people like to downplay its importance, but all of humankind plays sports. It's like music. We just do it. We dance. We make songs. We do religion.
But here's the question, though. Some people would say your question you're asking is not important.
Well, and that's true. That's true. Two sides have said that. And this is not, I think you would agree with, it's not a question we've had by and large. There's not even a lot of sources to reference besides the legislation. And so when you ask why this is important, I have meandered my way around to it.
Yeah.
Is that as this question, began to be asked, as we began to consider it, I began to consider it. I said, wait a second, y'all already got lost? Yeah. And that's where I feel the problem is that people say, I'm not even going to discuss it. We're shutting it down right now. What are you doing? Do you know what you're doing right now?
Yeah. And so it's one thing for me is that it's mainly in states. And so once these laws come in tandem, right? So like, not only can you not get gender reassignment surgery or hormone treatment, and so you just gotta go to puberty while feeling gender dysmorphia.
And I had not thought about that. That is, we're gonna come back to that, but that's a checkmate, and that is extra foul.
Basically,
Yes.
not only can you not play the sport to which you feel is the gender you should be, you can't get any reassignment surgery or hormone therapy till you're 18. And from what every trans person I've heard said this is that going through puberty while you feel as if you're not in the right assigned gender is hell. Yeah. It's just like it's ridiculous going through that. Feels like your body's betraying you, as they say, And so I already know how much puberty sucked for me.
Right. I wanted this stuff to happen, and I hated it.
Yeah, I wanted to grow a beard. I wanted to get taller. And it sucked. The acne that I had on my face when I was going to puberty was ridiculous. Whenever my voice would crack, it was as
kill me now.
Yeah. Yeah. When you would say here in class and call a roll and your voice would crack and the whole classroom would crack up.
You trying to holler at Shorty.
Yeah.
You got a date to the dance. Oh Lord. You're not saying something. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. And now looking back on it, it's kind of funny, but I remember how much everything felt as if it was the end of the world. Yeah.
And your hormones got your emotions. You don't even your emotions is all out of whack. Everybody. So everybody think everything is in the world and nothing is that important.
Yeah.
But imagine it's all of that. Your body is doing something crazy to you.
The Texas legislator, a bunch of white dudes done said on top of all that.
You can't do anything to help yourself in the situation.
Yeah. And not only can you not do anything, I will revoke the license of the one doctor. Because
right.
The one I'm in Texas, the doctors in Texas are mainly probably Republican leading. But the one doctor who may listen to me in the whole entire state is like, I can't help you out because they'll revoke my license.
Right.
Yeah. And so I think some liberals will say to you, though, the question being asked about whether or not this is unfair to students isn't a question worth asking. That it happens so little that it doesn't bear asking, because whenever the question is asked, someone ends up saying, "What if LeBron playing the WNBA?" And now you're comparing. It was a thing we used to do all the time in the 90s, where we used to, like, people who were trans, we gave them very manly features as women, as a way to talk about
but
them.
If you transition here's so I'll make a point and it's going to transition. I'll try to make it clear because that's not my specialty. But okay, you made it clear to me just now that they work in tandem, and I literally never considered that. I don't know. I would see the headline and the update on this bill and that bill, and I didn't think about how they work together. I don't know why, but because I just thought it was wrong. I'm like, stop doing that, and then just move on. I hate that they're doing this. But if they're working in tandem, it's a checkmate, because if you say, okay, and I'm starting from sports because that's where I heard about it first.
Yes.
Of a controversy first, right? So if it starts in sports and it says, I don't want LeBron James. And it's crazy because LeBron James was a beast when he was a kid, right? So
yes.
I don't want LeBron James dunking on my daughter, right? And they say, okay, they make a rule. Boom. No trans participation in your you have to do the gender assigned at birth. You got to stay in that lane, right? And then they say, well, LeBron's mother says, okay, but we get in, my daughter, the hormone therapy to where she, at 12, let's say, or whatever, I don't know, before the body becomes, a man, right?
Yes.
We nip that in the bud. So this is going to be a feminine, for all intents and purposes, on the athletic tip, right? This is going to be someone who's going to be in the size and stature, no different from anybody else. Okay.
Yes.
Or at least much more similar. And they said, hot checkmate, because you can't do that either.
Yes.
And so it's like, it seems villainous in that way. Like that's pretty. In one part, I'm like, I identify with your struggle and you're trying to figure out how this works because sports are important to human beings. But that's villainous. You making a situation on. I guess it's the culture war tip. I don't know. Maybe you just hate trans people.
Well, I mean,
Where you have to have this situation where you have to have this potentially. I mean, this person does not have to be big and hulking. We do keep on saying. I keep on saying that. That's just the possibility that people are trying to protect against.
yeah,
Which is a possibility. Some people are just born big, big and strong, especially for men. You got big hands, whatever. And so it's like, oh no. You're gonna grow up to be big and strong, and you won't play sports with my child. And it's like, okay, but what if we solve? No, you can't. I'm forcing you to be in this situation.
yeah, because
Why would you do that? It's like
Because-
you would think if you're genuinely concerned with fairness, let's set up. And this happens all the time in society. Let's set up the situation where this is least likely to occur. This is where people get mad about criminal justice a lot of the time. The drug war and all this. Your efforts are not sincere in solving the problem. You just are trying to create a situation where you can control people's actions.
Yeah, and so basically, the answer to the question about sports is like in California, if my child decides they want to be, if my child tells me that they do not feel the gender assigned to them is correct, that I can nip that in the bud before they go to puberty, so I have to deal with gender dysmorphia, and they can live the rest.
I think it's dysphoria. Dysmorphia sounds accurate as well. Dysmorphia, I know, because there's muscle dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Of you not, or weight dysmorphia, where you like feel you're bigger or smaller than you actually are. But I think with gender specifically, it's dysphoria. Both of these seem to make sense. I just want to throw it out there so we don't look stupid.
Yes, I may be using the wrong terminology. Roast me if you will. But so you don't go through that basically, right?
Yes.
And so I can nip that in the bud and have you do this early enough to where if you're 14 years old and play basketball, but it never becomes an issue because you never went through puberty and had to deal with that. But Texas and many of these other southern states, and then some of them are Midwest too, I believe that what they're taking is a religious stance, basically. And so
wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. And so of course, me as a Christian, I am me and my house type of Christian, right? So that comes from Joshua, I want to say. And yes, he's like, we're about to go into Canaan's land. They got these false gods out there. Do whatever y'all want to do. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. That's why I'm like, me and my house, we're going to do this. But whatever y'all want to do over there, I can do that. And I'm not going to stop you because I don't want you stopping me from serving God. So,
and Christians love to cry in popular discourse. We love to cry oppression. They don't let us, observe. Yeah. And we're real good at stopping other people from observing their beliefs. It's really,
so like, beyond me. Let me worship on Sunday and Wednesday, and you can get married to whoever you want to get married to, and call it a simple day, right? But most people don't agree with me, and for some reason they believe the Great Commission that Jesus said. Some people believe that Jesus said, "Go out and make other Christians, and then stop those heathens from doing whatever they want to do."
They say Jesus said, "Make disciples, make Christians."
Yeah,
and they said, "Yes, make them, like force them, like make them do it."
And that's not what he said. Yeah,
no, that's not what he meant.
Many of these people, let's say, will quote scripture to you and be like, "Well, that's not of God," and that's why I'm stopping this. And I'm like, well, I don't understand this because you be cussing, you be drinking, you be cheating on your wife, you be cheating on your taxes, you don't feed the homeless, you don't take care of the widows, you don't take care of the orphans. I see all these sins you got racked them up, and you ain't trying to live right. But this is the thing the hill you want to die on. That don't make any sense to me. And so I really believe Texas, most of these states, they're really just, they're really trying to make a religious stance out of this, right? Like the bathroom situation, that should never been a problem for me. Like that should never been a issue we had, but they wanted to fight that fight. And I've talked to Christians, and then especially some Christians who are educators, and they'll say this to me: well, there was a rise of boys going to the girls' bathrooms. And I was like, because I had known them boys who went to the girl bathrooms, and they were like, ooh, I see an opportunity. There are a lot of people to go to every restaurant they want to go into. Let me go into the girls' bathroom and be like, oh, well, I identify as a girl, right? Mm-hmm. I know these kids, and they're going to do that anyway. if they couldn't say they identify as a girl, they would just go into the bathroom and be like,
a peeping Tom was going to be a peeping Tom. I mean, it's really bananas how wild 13-year-olds are now. You can blame it on the hormones or what. I wouldn't have been peeping. I can be honestly say, because there was one time. I'm not even gonna tell that story. Not even gonna incriminate myself like that. But I wasn't in the mix. I want you to know that right now. You know what I'm saying? People wasn't in the locker room. It wasn't as weird as it sounds.
Yeah.
But I said no, because I'm not finna. And especially I'm my only black kid. No, sir. No, sir. Not me. But these aren't solution oriented. Like, these are dismissals, right? And that's what I think that's that villainous stuff. It's really hard to take the religious peak seriously, because y'all's religious. First off, America is not a theocracy. That's one thing off rip. So none of that should be allowed in the first place.
Yeah.
This is not, it's one nation under God on the Cold War tip, and that God is not specified. We like to act like God means the Christian God, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Christian God has a name in Hebrew. Stop playing with me. Or the Judeo-Christian, do all this super, dogmatically stuff. So it's that argument's dead. Y'all don't, institute Christian law. That's not what we do. Then on the bathrooms, you gotta protect. Y'all aren't serious about that either. So we've got dogma going on one side, and they're just moving in full force with the dogma, because we're at peak culture war. This is 60s level culture war. It's hot, and I'm wondering, okay, we know this is wrong. We see it. And because of the demographics, this is what we're doing. This is democracy, unfortunately. These people are duly elected. These decisions are, duly processed. The bills are being voted upon. It's bad, but it's not illegal. So what do I do? And what is the fallout? Because these little children, they're coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're coming out the womb.
Yeah.
Our society is changing. And as we've seen before, like temperance, like or any law against sex, first off, any law trying to constrain sex and gender fails. Any law trying to constrain people, just taking marginal steps to enjoy themselves, drugs, alcohol, absolute failure. It doesn't work. You're not finna, especially in America, you're not about to tell me who I'm gonna love, where I'm gonna be, what I'm gonna do. No, sir. So,
well, I mean,
what are we going to do when people start?
Here's the problem.
Pressing up against this,
because the revoking of the medical license, that's the part right there where they really checkmate everything. Because as a physician, if you revoke my medical license, I can't practice anymore.
I can't eat.
Yeah, I can't eat. And so, like, an abortion doctor, they try to do that. That was tossed out because as a extreme hindrance to having abortions in your state, Roe versus Wade tip, basically. And also, you don't technically need admission. Like, they try to do the whole, you got to have admitting to certain hospitals to be able to admit abortions. And those laws do run up against Roe versus Wade every now and then. But most places, like in Missouri or Louisiana or Mississippi and Alabama, you just can't get an abortion if you live in those states. You got to travel all the way to somewhere, to Georgia, maybe Atlanta, and stay 2 nights. And so most poor people in Mississippi and Alabama, they just can't have abortions, or they find some, person who's doing them out the back of a trailer with a hanger,
But you can't do that with the hormones.
No, you can't. And so, to be real depressing and honest about this, most people who grow up trans in these states just have a life that is either they move or they live a life that is really horrifying.
See, and that's another thing. So that's okay. That's the reality. I can see that.
Or they commit suicide. That's another thing.
That's the other thing. And I was like,
yeah.
Here's the problem, though. People have been saying this for a long time, long enough for me to get hip to it. We're talking about. I don't think it's trans lives matter. I don't know if I've heard that, but trans rights, human rights, stop killing these trans people. Those kind of statements online. So y'all just don't care.
They don't,
like, about these people, like their whole life.
They don't care at all.
We know violence against them is crazy and their life expectancy is low. And every piece of this legislation, like I said, this is villainous, is going to set you up either, despair and horror in your own body. And then once you get into the world, you're even more screwed, because I just wanted to blend in. I'm just trying to be a lady with the flow. I'm just trying to be a man with the flow. Now, because you didn't let me set myself up for success in that endeavor, I'm more, dare I say, forgive me if this is wrong, I'm more identifiable as the trans person on the street. I was just trying to blend. People just be trying to do their thing. I'm just trying to go to the grocery store. And now some gang of dudes mad at the world, a posse, then rolled up on me. Hey, what you doing? And then now it's a rape situation. Now it's a beat down situation. Now it's a murder situation. Yeah,
well, actually, when you say forgive me if you're wrong, you're not kind of wrong, but like there's a problem in the trans community about levels of being able to pass.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was thinking. But if that was me, if that's my prerogative, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I'm really trying to, most people are not trying to do a big to do about life.
Yeah.
It's like, this is how I feel. This is what I'm trying to do. Cool. I'm a painter. I just want to paint and make my money and go on.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're making that impossible for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I know it's a small number of people. Like I'm getting very granular. I'm getting very specific. But like the fact, like, why would you do that to these people? it's insane to just really nope, sorry, psych, you're not gonna do it.
Mainly because they don't care, and because they don't pay enough taxes, they don't vote enough. The other trans people aren't active,
but there's just not enough.
Enough
trans folks, and there's not enough solidarity.
Yeah, and so they don't care, right? And so maybe you got to make more media, more Lifetime movies, so white Christian moms can start caring. But as of right now, they are a voice crying out in the wilderness, John the Baptist style. And it's like in Texas, like if you live in Amarillo, yeah, you gotta
move. I think you're gonna have to move regardless.
Yeah, but you live in Houston. I can go to Montrose. Maybe I can find some people who can help me out. But if they're going to revoke a person's medical license, what do? I guess I got to buy hormonal drugs on the black market. Because my parents got to be really, really down with me to willing to do that. But most people who are trans, they got to fight with their parents in the first place. That's a whole fight they got to do in the first place. They probably get kicked out the house. The village home became a thing in New York City because most of those kids are getting kicked out the house.
Homeless.
Yeah, homeless. So I got to go somewhere else and find a place to live, and so, even I growing up as a teenager, I know me and my parents had fights about just little differences in like religion or what I believe in politics. And
we believe in the same God. We believe in citizens of the same country. We got the same skin color and we beefing.
Yeah, it's about little, because every teenager has this, where they got little beefs with their families and their parents, but it blows all the way out of proportion, right?
Yes, it does.
But imagine if not only that, but also I'm beefing with my family. I'm like, I don't want to be what you think I am, and so that's a whole another issue. And so the best thing I hope to happen is that people like us,
yes, straight also, Christian males.
Yeah,
I'm not white, but I do the best. I try to flex my proximity to it as best as I can.
And also because I don't want to say trans people are hopeless, like they can't help themselves. They can't, they continue to bring
minorities need allies though.
Yeah, so they need allies, and it's up to people who see this for being wrong to spend their political capital to try to get these bills from passing. But it's a long uphill climb, and your best bet is to move to California or somewhere else, because in Texas, it's just the way it is, because
so wake up, everybody, please. Smell the freaking coffee and pressing people who you don't even see. That's another thing in Texas and in Kansas and wherever else, or the red states, West Virginia. Y'all don't know any of these.
I don't think you need to know a trans person to be able to feel like you need to stand up against them. To stand up
for
them. Yeah, not against them, for them.
it's gonna be messy. That's my thing. That's why like I understand both sides. And we're doing the legislation before the discussion has been had, before our society has made up its mind as a whole, and before we move towards solutions to like, okay, how are we gonna, we gotta navigate this space. That was just like discussions over. We're passing laws, and when we've done this in the past, it came back to bite us, and that's my forecast. It's just gonna, I don't know how, but it's gonna go sour, and you're gonna look stupid.
Yeah. My name is Thomas Brown.
Irvin Bryant.
Peace.